Level 1. The Trainee. You sign your name at a recruiting office wedged between a tire shop and a payday loan store outside El Paso. The recruiter tells you straight up that most guys who start this pipeline never finish it. You tell him you'll be the one who does. You're 19, you ran track and played free safety in high school, and you spent your last summer lifeguarding at the community pool because you liked being the one people counted on. You think that's preparation enough. You fly to Lackland Air Force Base for basic military training. They shave your head the first morning. They hand you boots a half size too small and tell you to break them in fast. You learn to fold a shirt into a perfect square. 7 weeks later, you graduate and your mother cries in the bleachers. You feel proud for about a day. The pride fades fast once a training instructor reads your name off a list. Then orders send you straight into combat control selection. That's where this really begins. Level 2, the selection candidate. Everyone in the pipeline just calls it selection, and everyone agrees it's one of the hardest gates in the Air Force. 40 men start your class at Pope Army Airfield. Underwater confidence drills come first. Instructors hold you beneath the surface, strip your mask, and watch whether you panic or wait it out. You wait it out. You run timed miles through Carolina heat that makes the pines blur. You do calisthenics until your arms stop listening to you. Men quit every single day. They set their helmet on a table and ring a bell and nobody says a word. You dart ring it. Your hands shake through the last time swim. But they don't stop moving. 9 weeks in, 7 of the original 40 are still standing. And you're one of them. Level 3, the pipeline student. What follows is nearly 2 years of schools, each one its own full military qualification. Army Airborne School at Fort Benning teaches you to exit a C-130 in flight. Army Combat Diver School in the Florida Keys teaches you to swim a mile underwater without leaving a bubble on the surface. Air Force Basic Survival School in the Washington Mountains teaches you to eat insects and drink rainwater for a week straight. Military Freefall School in the Arizona desert teaches you to fall 4 miles and steer your body through open sky. And the first time your canopy opens clean, you understand why men chase this feeling. Then comes Air Traffic Control School at Keesler Air Force Base, where you earn an FAA controller certification and start dreaming in call signs and separation minimums. You call yourself lucky some nights and exhausted every other night, and most nights you can't tell the difference anymore. Level 4, the Apprentice Combat Controller. The last course is Combat Control School back at Pope. 13 more weeks that everyone in the pipeline just calls the schoolhouse. You call simulated airstrikes onto moving targets while instructors shout conflicting radio traffic in your ear. You land on a blacked out dirt strip under night vision and clear it for a C-17 in under 10 minutes. You build a landing zone survey while charges detonate close enough to shake your teeth. You learn to open an airfield nobody else can reach. Alone if it comes to that. You graduate and at a small ceremony at Pope they set a scarlet beret on your head. Your father, a man who pours concrete for a living, doesn't say much. He just holds your hand a few seconds longer than a normal handshake. Your unit's motto is stitched into the team flag. First there. Level 5, the Journeyman Controller. You're assigned to a special tactics squadron and deployed to Afghanistan attached to a special operations wing whose call signs you'll never say out loud to your family. Your job is airspace control and close air support. When a platoon gets pinned on a ridge with no way to move, you're the one who talks the jets in. Your first real call comes at 2:00 a.m. Ground forces are danger close, 200 meters from the target, in total darkness. You confirm coordinates twice, key the radio, and clear the strike. The bombs land exactly where you put them, close enough that the concussion rattles your own chest plate. The ridge goes quiet. You lie awake afterward, replaying every number you gave that pilot. Level 6, the Senior Controller. You're 27 on your 3rd deployment, and you stop keeping count of controlled strikes somewhere past 60. You're the Senior Controller on the team now, which means junior guys watch your hands before they decide how to use their own. A call comes in for a convoy ambushed near a dry riverbed, visibility down to nothing in a dust storm. You talk 2 aircraft onto target 150 meters from your own position, blind, by voice alone. The strike lands clean, close enough that dust and rock rain down on your own position. Your team walks out. You meet one of the survivors a year later at a reunion, older now, quieter now, standing off to the side with a beer he isn't really drinking. He thanks you. You still haven't figured out what to say back. Level 7, the team lead. You're planning missions now instead of being first through the door. Your team is sent to seize an austere airstrip on a coastline where American boots officially aren't supposed to be. A special operations element needs the runway open before dawn. You plan the infiltration yourself. Static line, night jump, unlit terrain. You brief your 3 junior controllers and watch their faces for who's actually ready and who's only performing readiness. You jump first. You're the last one off the drop zone, checking every chute before your own. The runway opens on schedule, and not one person outside your squadron will ever hear about that night. Level 8. The Combat Control Superintendent. You're 39, a Chief Master Sergeant running an entire squadron's worth of operators spread across several detachments. You stopped deploying on every mission years ago. Now you sit in an operations center watching a live feed of an infiltration you can't risk yourself on anymore. You authorize the jump. You listen to 6 unbearable minutes of dead radio silence, your coffee going cold in your hand, before your team finally checks back in. That year, you lose a 23-year-old junior controller named Mike when his chute malfunctions on a night infill over open desert. You write the letter to his mother in your own handwriting. At the funeral, you hand his younger brother the folded flag. He's only 14 and he asks what Mike was even doing out there. You tell him the truth, opening a runway for men whose names Mike never lived long enough to learn. Level 9, the Career Field Manager. You're 48, working out of the Pentagon, setting training standards for every combat controller in the Air Force. You brief generals on equipment failures and pipeline reform. You fight in budget rooms for funding that might keep another chute from failing the way Mike's did. And most weeks, you lose more of those fights than you win. Twice a year, you visit a selection class at Pope and watch 19-year-olds set their helmets on the table and ring the bell the same way men did when you were 19. You can already tell which ones will make it just by watching how they stand between reps. You don't say so. You just take notes for the next training revision and go home. Level 10, the Retired Combat Controller. You retired 18 months ago. You live outside Tucson with a clear view of the Catalina Mountains from your porch. Most mornings you sit there with coffee and watch the sun climb the ridge the same way it climbed over 100 runways you were never allowed to name out loud. Your knees ache from 2 decades of hard static line landings. Your hearing never fully came back from the flight line. Fewer of your old teammates call every year. Some moved on. Some didn't make it home. Some made it home and still didn't really make it, and you carry every one of their names quietly, without ever saying them out loud. Every spring, you stand at the back of a combat control school graduation and watch young men receive the scarlet beret while their families cry the way your father almost did. You don't say anything to them. You don't need to. Somewhere right now, in a recruiting office squeezed between a tire shop and a payday loan store, a 19-year-old is signing his name, certain he understands exactly what he's agreeing to. He doesn't. He never could. He'll learn it the only way it's ever been taught. Bloody, painfully, one runway, one loss, one beret at a time. The cycle continues.